Welcome to Ask the Lawyer radio podcast with attorney Brian Figueroa of the law firm Figueroa and Associates. This podcast features a recording of our most recent radio show. We hope you enjoy the show, which features news, views, and interviews on matters such as immigration, personal injury, bankruptcy, divorce, family law, estate planning, wills and probate, deed transfers, civil rights, criminal defense, workers' compensation, and taxes, both individual and business. You can contact us at 855-768-8845 or visit us at www.askthelawyer.us. You have questions? We've got the answers.
Good day, good day, good day. My name is Brian Figueroa of the law firm Figueroa and Associates. This is Ask the Lawyer. You got questions, we got answers. The number to call, the number to keep, the number to share is 855-768-8845. Again, 855-768-8845. Black issues, civil rights issues. We have seen the rights of black people in America, since the civil rights movement go down and down and down and down and down. In 2021, Joe Biden signed into law Juneteenth. Emancipation Day in the Caribbean in TNT is celebrated August 1st every year since 1985. Both Africa and the Caribbean under British rule, that's their Emancipation Day celebration. In America, it's Juneteenth, and that's for obviously historical reasons. But in 2021, it became a public holiday. And obviously it is an important moment in history. It should be celebrated with joy and with sorrow. And it is a day that used to be celebrated not as a holiday in New York City for many, many years. And as time passed, it seemed to be less of a celebration. Then it has picked up momentum since it became a federal holiday. And this day, Juneteenth, I wish it was actually a Monday, the week of Juneteenth. For convenience purposes, meaning you could plan a weekend rather than a day. But Juneteenth, again, what it gives us is a day to reflect. Reflect on the past, reflect on the present, and reflect on the future. When Jews couldn't start their own law firms because of discrimination against Jews, these Jewish firms had 5-year plans, 20-year plans, 50-year plans, and 100-year plans. So Jews, and I loved them, they understood their plight, obviously discriminated against because they are Jews, and we know the whole Nazi concentration camps, that sordid history. But obviously people of color, black people, we say different shades scattered globally, the same goal, meaning, obviously it's a black issue and we come in different shades. We are scattered globally, but we have the same goal of equality both economically and obviously from a humanitarian point of view. And we have to learn from our past and hopefully, bring about different changes for us. And if we take stock, yes, there is progress, but not sufficient. How should we be celebrating this particular day? Or should it be every day that we celebrate Juneteenth in a, intellectual way, in a motivated kind of way as to, okay, how do we help those that didn't make us the kind of success that some has, but most haven't? And there's always a constant theme coming from my law practice, the law firm of Figueroa and Associates, and how we address civil rights issues when we talk about the segregated schools, when we talk about a lack of access to capital for starting businesses. So there's a whole range. When we talk about we in New York City, our communities have 3 and 4 the city average of HIV, heart disease, diabetes, yet still our medical system in New York City don't give us 3 and 4 times the resources that we need in our communities to address these issues. So whether it be heart disease, diabetes, resources have to be given. So there's a whole host of issues that still plagues our community, and because of that, our life expectancy as people of color is less than that of obviously white people. They live longer, and they live longer in a prosperous way. So how do you fight that data? How do you access better medical facilities? And diseases like heart disease and diabetes, those are diseases of poverty also. Meaning, you eat more carbohydrates and less proteins, a less balanced diet depending on your income. So that's the plague of poverty also. And all of these issues we cannot ignore. I have never heard anyone running for the mayorship, running for the city council, running for the state assembly, running for the state senate, running for governor in New York State and articulate these issues. And what we need to do as a people, or people who love people, whether they're white or whatever color that doesn't suffer from the ravages of discrimination, we have to address these issues. And if we don't put it on the forefront, if we lack knowledge as to what is wrong in our communities, then how can we fix it? So you would think that obviously these issues will be better handled in Africa, the Caribbean, other countries that celebrate Juneteenth, because not Juneteenth, well, Emancipation Day on August 1st, because, they are a more, obviously, black majority communities for the most part. But yet still, obviously, they have those issues because of the history of slavery, the history of how Western Europe exploit those economies. So there are international issues where, economic development is stifled. So you have all these European countries wanting to own all the mineral resources in Africa, but do nothing for it. And we have China doing more for Africa than Western Europe ever did. That is why in one year we had President Barack Obama and former President Bush in Africa because of what the Chinese are doing there. And the Chinese are all over the world. But their economic approach is different from America. I was reading an article recently where, they say the U.S. U.S. military was given disinformation about the COVID vaccine for that they had developed and was using it in the Philippines and other places to, you know, to mess the reputation of that drug. When in fact, under Trump, they was given no drugs to the world, but at least the Chinese had a drug that they was distributing to other Asian countries. So when we read, obviously, we have to understand, that America is still obviously a conqueror. They have conquered more countries, invaded more countries than any country in the world. So bearing this in mind, black issues is not just local to America, local to Kings County. It's an international issue. We are people of color, for the most part, they are labor being exploited or the resources that they may have being exploited by others. So one of the visions that we have had at the law firm Figure and Associates is to introduce a celebration starting on Memorial Weekend, working itself into Juneteenth. We don't want to just celebrate one day. We're thinking, okay, can we develop a series of events and celebrating us from an economic, political, and moral perspective? And using that time period, we will bring our brothers and sisters from Africa, the Caribbean, Latin America, to celebrate Juneteenth with us at a particular point in time where it's like an international conference of Juneteenth and Emancipation Day. And as these various celebrations are celebrated, whether in the Caribbean or Africa, we should be visiting those countries and participating in their Emancipation Day and establishing a more global celebration for this particular day, Juneteenth. My name is Brian Figueroa of the law firm Figueroa and Associates. This is Ask the Lawyer. You got questions, we got answers. The number to call, the number to keep, the number to share is 855-768-8845. Again, 855-768-8845. Now, when you listen to some of the presentations that we make on this program, Ask the Lawyer, you have to understand what is the motivation here. So yes, we talk about law, we talk about the areas of law that we practice in, but one of the foundations for this program came when I attended law school. And Professor Slocum, African-American brother, civil rights leader, Black Panther, actually a Republican, we had many long discussions. And we talked about our people's struggle. He spoke about, obviously, his participation in the civil rights movement. Actually, the law school that I attended, Rutgers University, Newark, New Jersey Law School, he talked about him and his fellow Black Panthers holding hands around the building saying, no one gets into this law school until they accept black men and black women. And, in modern times, we obviously don't appreciate or understand the sacrifices that has been made. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, the list goes on. And out of all of this, Professor Slocum, he was a great lawyer. He had a very analytical mind. And he said to me, Mr. Figueroa, You did property law with me. You're doing civil rights with me. I spoke to you about how you could create wealth and obviously how to address the issues in our community. And what he said to me was simple. He said, when a client comes into the office, they have a problem. They will give you the facts. And you, as the lawyer, you have to come up with the questions and the answers to their problem. So what is the big question where civil rights issues or our modern day issues are? What is the facts surrounded it? What is the question and what is the answer? The answer is supposed to be the solution. How do we solve our problems today? And that mindset is what I have had in my law practice for almost 3 decades now. It is the mindset that I have had with the various publications that we have, launched. It is the mindset for Ask the Lawyer. It's the mindset for the law practice. It is the mindset when I speak and motivate people in our paralegal program or for people who work with the law firm, that we have to be thinkers. We have to do the proper research. We have to do our due diligence. We want the best for our clients and our community. And, Juneteenth is a good time for me to part with my knowledge. You say, parting with knowledge is important. How do you part with knowledge effectively? How do I convince my listeners or my followers or whatever you want to call them? How do you, part with knowledge with your family or as a professor? How do you part with knowledge? One of the courses that I taught at the Africana Studies Department at Brooklyn College was called Blacks and the Law. And when you teach our young people and you motivate them, and I still have a relationship with students from those classes that I taught, how do you, give hope? How do you keep hope alive, as they say, And for Juneteenth, we must understand that we can't just do nothing. We should do something. And hopefully, with all of us doing something rather than nothing, eventually, from an evolutionary process, things will get better for us. But we must always remember the core of what we are doing, because the longer we take to get solutions, more of us will die from diseases that we shouldn't be dying from. More of us will be disenfranchised with our dreams, whether it be in a corporate leader, in a racist, less corporations or businesses that employ people, or with government. If we don't take this process seriously, humans' lives will be lost, and they continue to be lost at this time. Again, my name is Brian Figueroa of the law firm Figueroa & Associates. This is Ask the Lawyers. You got questions, we got answers. The number to call, the number to keep, the number to share is 855-768-8845. Again, 855-768-8845. Visit our website, www.askthelawyer.us. Again, www.askthelawyer.us. Part of our plans is to have various conferences throughout the Caribbean and Africa. We already have programming in the Caribbean. We will continue to expand. Peace, my brothers and sisters.
Do you have a legal issue, question, or concern? Turn to Ask the Lawyer. You have questions? We've got answers. For a consultation or to refer a client, visit www.askthelawyer.us. Again, www.askthelawyer.us. You can also register for our paralegal program, get legal news, business consults, or other information on educational issues. Yes, ask the lawyer. You have questions, we've got answers. For a consultation or to refer a client, visit www.askthelawyer.us. Again, www.askthelawyer.us.